Summer break, it is coming to an end. Most students in our state will have their first day of school on August the 28th. And you don't want to wait until the first day of school to start getting your kids ready. So we're going to talk about going back to school and the checklist. So Dr. Nicole Chandler from Tim and Carolyn Rice Center for Child and Adolescent Health is here with us today. All right, first up, we're getting back to school. That means we're getting into that back to school routine. Lots of kids are on that summertime sleep schedule. So how do we get the kids back on the school sleep schedule?
That's a great question. Yes, all of our kids right now are going to bed late and sleeping in. And I would recommend that we try to get them back on the school schedule about a week before school starts. What we don't want is for the first day of school to be the first day that we wake them up early and then they go to school and they're exhausted all day and can't concentrate. So about 1 week before school starts, go ahead and start having them get to bed earlier and make them start waking up earlier as well.
All right, and it's not like you have to make them do the whole hour earlier, but maybe just in small increments.
Small increments, little by little.
All right. So what are some maybe recommendations for a good night's rest, especially as the kids are kind of getting jittery that school is coming?
This is something that I talk about every day when I'm talking to families. And these are actually tips that are important, not just for little kids, but for you and I as well. One of the most important things that we can do to prepare for sleep at night and to have a good night's sleep is turn off those electronics. So about an hour before we're getting ready for bed, turn off the electronics, all of them, the tablets, the TVs, the phones, because the bright light from the electronics is kind of telling our brain, oh, it's daylight, stay awake. We need to turn off the electronics just to start to get into the nighttime mode. Kids do great from having a routine. So every night having them get ready for bed, put on their pajamas, brush their teeth, and then having an hour of time where you can sit and read with your child or do something quiet and calm before bed.
When they get in that routine, it's kind of like it's a safe thing, right? They may complain about it, but it's surely a safe thing for them to know.
It is. Routines in general are things that make kids feel safe, and then they know what's coming. It's hard to be a kid and not be in charge of your life and have everything be new and unexpected. So when they kind of know what's coming, it can give them a lot of calming, a lot of reassurance.
All right, so let's talk about how long. How many hours of sleep are recommended for younger grade school students versus like teenagers?
More than you think, probably. Everyone always thinks of, oh, I need to get an 8-hour sleep. But remember, kids are growing. Grade school kids can need up to 12 hours of sleep at night. And high school kids can need up to 10 hours of sleep a night. So possibly more than they're actually getting in their busy little lives.
Right. Their bodies are actually growing and stuff. They're not lazy. They're just growing. That takes up a lot of energy.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's talk about back to school stress and first day anxiety. As this first day is drawing near, what are some signs to look for in your child that they may be a little bit apprehensive?
Well, some kids can tell their parents, oh, I'm feeling worried, I'm feeling stressed, but more often than not, kids just can't verbalize this and they'll show it in other ways. It's really common for kids to have bodily complaints, such as my tummy hurts, my head hurts, I have a headache, or even be acting out, maybe be a little bit more clingy. So any of these could be signs that they're feeling a little stressed, a little anxious about that first day of school.
Are there some do's and don'ts that parents and caregivers should keep in mind when it comes to helping kids who may be anxious about that?
Yes. In general, first remember it's really normal for kids to be a little anxious and a little excited about the first day of school. I would definitely keep a positive attitude and listen to your child. One thing that we forget how important it is just sitting and listening to your child, asking them how they're feeling. Reassure them about the fun parts of school and the exciting things that are coming. And yeah, do just try to stay positive, be excited for them, and be that listening ear that they need.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and more of the back to school checklist when we come back right after this break. Welcome back. Dr. Nicole Chandler is here with us talking all things back to school. Right before the break, we were talking about when kids are stressed that we need to have a listening ear. I know a lot of times my default is to listen, but then to say, oh, don't worry about that. And we need to be careful about that.
Yes, so true. We want to solve their problems, but sometimes what they really need us to say is it's totally normal to be stressed out, and it's totally normal to be scared. And honestly, your teacher might even be a little stressed and scared too. We all get scared on our first day of school, our first day of work, and just acknowledge them that they're normal, and you listen to them and you're there for them. And you're absolutely right. We don't want to say, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let them know it's okay. It's okay to be worried.
Yeah, and it's okay to be with everybody else who's a little bit stressed.
Everybody, all of us.
All right, let's talk about school immunizations. Just how important are they, and what should parents do if their child has kind of gotten behind on them?
Well, first, immunizations are, of course, as all of you know who have children, very, very important. It's our first and easiest way to protect our kids against very serious, deadly diseases. It's as easy as buckling your seatbelt, only you don't have to do it as many times in your life as you have to buckle your seatbelt. I think you asked how to know if you're up to date, and I would recommend calling your pediatrician's office. They would have a record of your child's immunizations. If you go to a practice that is electronic, such as our practice, you are likely able to access the chart yourself using something similar to a MyChart app.
Okay. Now what happens, because this is, it happens every once in a while that the kids are behind on the vaccines, the parents feel awful, and then they're like, oh, I just don't even want to take them in.
Don't even worry about that. The great thing is most of us here have children, or in some degree, or maybe we're friends with people who have children, and we're human, and we understand that. And I get behind on things all the time, and we have to forgive ourselves, and it's normal. Just like that anxiety, we're humans, we're normal. And so that's the last thing we want you to worry about. Bring them in, we'll get them caught up. You don't have to worry about the timing. We'll figure all of that out for you,
all right,
as well as your pediatrician.
Well, speaking of that, do we need appointments to get immunizations? Can we get them at the pharmacy? What do we need to do with that?
For the childhood immunizations, we do need appointments. There's a long list of vaccines that kids need to be healthy and to be ready for school, and that you'll need to get at your provider's office. So your pediatrician, your family practice doc, your nurse practitioner, PA, whoever that is that takes care of your child regularly will be the ones to give you those vaccines.
And for those people who are not really sure what MyChart is, let's do the 101 on that.
Okay. So MyChart is available in a lot of different institutions. We have it here. It's a really cool program app where you can access your chart, or you can access your child's chart. And as you access the chart, you can see when they're due for appointments. You can check on their vaccine status. You can even see our notes. So if we talked about something in clinic and I told you, okay, your child has this rash and you need to do these things, and you get home and you can't remember, look at the MyChart. You'll see exactly what we discussed right there in your MyChart. You can also send me a question or send your pediatrician a question through MyChart.